Welcome back to another edition of Max Nicky VGM Reactions.
On this edition, we're going to be listening to Chrono Trigger, the main theme from the video game Chrono Trigger from Super Nintendo.
It's a classic track. A lot of people's favorite game is Chrono Trigger. It's a great game, and it's a great song. There's a great soundtrack to this.
If this is your first time watching our channel, or if you haven't done so already, please click on, and you like what you hear,
please click on the subscribe button, hit the like button, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Max and Nicky to check out some of our comedy and music content.
And if you're feeling in the real generous spirit to help us grow this channel, please consider donating to our channel at Venmo or PayPal. The links are in the description below.
Mm-hmm. With all that said, let's get into it with the main theme to Chrono Trigger off the SNES. And the music is written by Yasunori Mitsuda, with additional tracks by Nobuo Uematsu, the great Nobuo Uematsu, and Noriko Matsueda. And of course, this is from 1995.
And that's pretty late. That's a later SNES game right there.
All right, let's check it out.
Okay, interesting. You know,
all right, there we go.
while Nicky here has played and beaten Chrono Trigger, and so has listened to all this music.
It's been a long time. I haven't played it since 2006. That's when I beat it in 2006.
I actually personally have not played this game, although of course I know it, and but I have not listened to all the music. I've listened to specific tracks, but it's funny. I don't know if maybe it's been a very long time since I've listened to this track. But man, it's almost like it's new to me right now. I will say, it sounds. I'm just going to comment on this first, which is that you think that it's going through the loop again, but then it goes into this other section that it's a surprise, and then it becomes even more surprise at the end there. It almost sounds like a jazz fusion thing going on. It gets kind of jazzy, like this sort of it has a sort of solo-esque quality to it too. And and then it does this sort of symphonic hit at the end, or something like those hits or something like that at the end. It's kind of interesting.
It's a great track.
The bass kind of gets groovy at some point there.
Right. There's a lot going on. I mean, it's just, it's a pretty catchy melody, obviously.
Well, it starts off kind of. Well, it sounds, sort of militaristic. Sort of you're marching into war.
I feel like that was a thing with these role playing games at the time. I mean, even Secret of Mana kind of has some tracks like that.
Well,
in fact, Secret of Mana, Chrono Trigger
is an offshoot of that
It
game,
is,
right?
well, in the sense that there were, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe there were extra levels that were made for Secret of Mana, and they didn't know what to do with those, so they decided to just create a new game out of those extra levels. That's why some of the characters are very similar in both games. And what's interesting is some people like Chrono Trigger even more than Secret of Mana. I personally like Secret of Mana more. That's my favorite video game of all time.
I do too, because I haven't played Chrono Trigger. So
but Chrono Trigger, I did play and beat it in 2006. I remember having the stomach flu. I was at home for a week from school, and I used that time to play through this game.
I do want to mention something. While we were listening, I was going like this. I hope that didn't seem suggestive in any way.
I thought you were doing the shaker.
I was kind of mimicking a shaker is what was happening there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just what that.
But the drum sort of rhythm on this is very, it's very militaristic. It's, I mean, it's pretty cool, you know.
Well, that a lot of games do that. I mean, Zelda 3 does that too.
Well, it's just interesting to go. The reaction we did right before this was to Metroid, and it's just interesting how much progressed from NES to SNES, in the amount of sounds that they could utilize to create music,
Well, yeah. I mean, a big part of it was, obviously the capacity of the SNES is greater than the NES.
Yeah.
And also, they were using a sampler in this SNES, so true. They had access to a lot of more sounds. I wanted to say, what do you think the sound that they're trying to mimic as the main melody there? I was trying to figure out, was it sort of kind of like a trumpet or just another sound altogether?
I think it's another sound altogether. It's not. It's almost kind of like a Moog synthesizer sound in a way. That's what it sounds like.
Well, it almost has a quality almost like a trumpet, but it's not. It's not, though.
No. The notes are too long, almost. They're like too perfect sounding, to be a trumpet, or they sound like
they don't sound electronic. They don't sound honking enough.
Right. They sound electronic. Specifically electronic. I do think that whole bridge section after it loops the second time, if you were listening to the bass, that it had this sporadic bass going on that it kind of created this sort of, it was like sparse, and it kind of created this sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say new agey feel, but it kind of had I don't know how to describe it, sort of it created an ominous feeling almost,
I also noted that there were these, I was kind of pointing.
Jazz fusion is the right term for that.
I was pointing at certain moments because there was these accented portions with these, it sounded as though they were kind of plucked strings, sort of these pizzicato string sounds.
Pizzicato
and,
strings,
I feel like I wouldn't really pick up on that unless I was listening with headphones. And I think that, there's just different sounds going on that add to the overall composition.
Hey, a lot can be gained by listening to music with headphones,
Uh-huh.
And I suggest it. Even your favorite songs that you thought you've heard many times before, listen with headphones. It'll be like you're listening to it for your first time.
When I was in college, in freshman year, my friend was saying, Max, you really should get some better headphones. And I thought, laptop is fine. I don't really need to. Boy, was he right, and I was wrong. I mean, you really get a lot more out of music if you're listening with some good, nice headphones.
Or if you're listening with good monitor speakers or good speakers.
That's right.
That you can hear everything going on,
Right, but I would say,
even with the headphones, it causes your attention to
pick up on, focus. You're able to focus in on things better, and also the sort of, unless you're centered right in between two speakers, it allows you to pick up on the panning effects of a production better, you know?
Anyway, this is a great track. There's a lot of great tracks from Chrono Trigger, but I think that'll do it for today. Again, if you like what you heard and saw today, make sure to hit the subscribe button, click the like button, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Max Nicky if you want to check out our comedy and music content. And if you're feeling extra generous and you feel like you want to support the channel, please do so by donating to us on Venmo and PayPal. Links are in the description below. Not necessary, but we highly appreciate it.
Please tune in next time.
See ya.